EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for June 3rd, 2021. We have the potential for some severe storms today. We're going to be talking about in this video, and we're going to break down timing and locations as best we can with that. Today we have some showers that's going to be moving ahead of a warm front that was actually a continuation of what it came through late in the overnight, and it's going to be moving through our eastern areas, and that's going to be just this morning. That's with the warm front and some warm air advection coming into the region. Now the temperatures, even though we have the warm air advection, are not going to be much or too dissimilar to what we saw yesterday, because we have a lot of cloud cover expected today. And this is going to be a big factor in whether or not we see severe storms today or not. But it will not be with this warm front. There could be some rumbles of thunder with this morning showers and maybe some convection with that. But I think the severe weather, which is what is shown here by the Storm Prediction Center, this is their latest update. This is indicative of some later in the day, later in the afternoon and evening, and this would be along a prefrontal trough. Okay, so this is the area that was yesterday. Yesterday we had this area right here, where we just kind of stopped right here. There was just these areas in the slight risk that extended out down to here, but they have extended it further to the northeast to include not only parts of northeast PA, but also interior northern New Jersey and all the way up to the Hudson, lower Hudson Valley here. So they did expand the slight risk area, but the slight risk means that there's a 15% chance or greater of seeing severe weather within 25 miles of any given point within this yellow area. That's all that means. It does not mean you're going to get severe weather. Certainly not a guarantee, and it could be one of those deals where one town gets it and the next town over gets absolutely nothing. And you can see that a lot of times on the Facebook pages, people talking about posting pictures of damage of things, trees down, what have you. And then you have people comment, "Paul, nothing here. This was a joke," and you get these people that don't understand the whole process and how it works, and it just, it used to irritate me. It doesn't irritate me anymore. I just blow it off. It's whatever. Not everybody's going to get severe weather. It's just how it works. It's how it works in every event, and this is especially true today. Now, one of the factors of why I think this is going to be a mitigated threat, somewhat, or not mitigated, but muted a little bit. I'm not really excited on a big severe weather day here today. I know the slight risk we had up with the last event and actually produced quite a bit of severe weather reports. I would not expect a ton of those today. I just don't. I'm not feeling this threat, and I'll show you why in a second. Here's the NAM high-res future simulator radar moving forward. This kind of starts off about mid-afternoon and goes through about mid-evening. That's generally your threat window for any kind of severe weather. The NAM's not really too thrilled. It has a couple cells here, and if you get west of this area right here, on the west of a line like that, or if you're out in these areas here, your threat window is generally 3 to 6 p.m. And then southeast of that line is going to be after 6 p.m. So 6 to 9, maybe 10. Okay, that's about what you're looking at for any severe weather. But they're going to be, these cells are not that much here on the 3-kilometer NAM. There's a few here that move through. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on it, and I certainly think there can be some severe potential with it. And if you're going to have it, I think the primary threats from any of these storms today, number one, the worst thing is going to be flash flooding because of high precipitable water content, which is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Water-loaded downdrafts could produce some wet microbursts, which are just very heavy rain, and then you get some wind brought down to the surface in these wet microbursts. It can cause some damage that way over a very small area. Not a widespread thing with that. But I don't think this is going to be a big wind day here with severe weather. The HRR is very similar. Long-range HRRR is doing something very similar, but a little bit more coverage in storms. This too is believable, but the difference between the two models are one's trying to bring a little bit more in the way of breaks of sun, or at least peaks of sun, to help destabilize things. The other one's not. The NAM is not. Okay, so it's not bringing too much in the way of breaks of sun, and that's going to be the determining factor. How high can we get the instability today? And we just don't know that yet, because a model trying to forecast cloud cover is like flipping a coin. It really is, because sometimes it's correct in its depiction. Other times it's completely wrong, and that's going to be, today is one of those days where we need to have that information in order to determine how severe these can get. If we do get a lot more breaks of sun in any given areas for a prolonged period of time during peak heating, then sure, we could get a little bit more in the way of coverage of some severe reports as far as wind damage is concerned. And I think that's a number 2 today. Number 1 is going to be flash flooding. Number 2 threat is going to be from wind, and probably third is hail. Okay. I wouldn't really get too crazy in the hail, though, because we don't see a lot of dry air aloft. And this is a very wet sounding. This is a very moist sounding. So they see the temperature in red here on the sounding, and the dew point is in green, and they're very close together, which means this is a very water-loaded sounding. So there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere to tap into. Precipitable water content is very high. It's over 1.5 inches. So that means that there's a potential for wet microbursts here, but our lapse rates are very poor for the most part. And they're just kind of marginal in the lower levels. And then once you get above 3 kilometers, they're very poor. So this is not a big sounding here screaming to me like there's going to be a lot of wind reports here, but there could be. There could be a few isolated ones. I just don't think it's going to be as widespread as, say, the last event we had that did some damage across the southern half of our region. So that's that. That's where we're headed with that today. And as far as timing, again, I'm just going to draw this for you again. Because you're going to have to find out where you're on your map, because I get a lot of timing questions. What timing is it that for Philadelphia I had last night? Somebody was asking me about the Lehigh Valley. Again, west of here is 3 to 6. Okay, so just find where you are on this map. And this is going to be after 6 over in these areas here is where your threat window is. Probably like a 6 to 9, 6 to 10 type thing. But that's kind of like your dividing line right there. As far as time is concerned, they're going to all be moving west to east. How organized is it? We just don't know yet. And a lot of this is going to be lacking organization because of the fact that the cloud cover is going to be in place. And it's going to limit the amount of instability that we have to tap into, at least the mixed layer instability, or which is probably the most important of all these values. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We will certainly follow with any updates, any severe thunderstorm watches we'll be posting about throughout the day. After this point, though, we have another chance here on Friday with the actual cold front moving through the region. There could be some scattered thunderstorms, and you can see that here. It's kind of a decaying front here on Friday. The NAM does have some activity here on Friday as well. Here's that stuff today moving out, and then here's the overnight and getting into early. Here we get the same time frame, kind of like mid-afternoon, 3 to 8, 9 o'clock. You have a chance for some areas to get some scattered thunderstorms. The shear is not very good, so they're not going to be moving very fast. A lot slower movement with these here on Friday, but we have more instability to work with, even more than today. So there could be some severe storms. I can't rule that out here for Friday either. But after that point, once this moves away between that same 3 to 9 window, that's it. And that's going to be it for a while. We're going to be in a dry pattern, a very hot and humid pattern going forward. And most likely, most areas are going to see a heat wave by true definition, 3 consecutive days of 90 degrees or better. 3 or more consecutive days of 90 degrees or better. And I think in some cases, some of you might see 4 or even 5 days of 90 in a row, 90 degrees or better in a row, namely down here by the Philadelphia region, maybe by Newark, places like that along I-95, the usual hot urban corridor there. But even in the interior, Lehigh Valley, Harrisburg, Williamsport, Wilkes-Barre, you can easily have a heat wave, at least 3 days, maybe 4. Looks like it's going to start here on Sunday, where you have your first 90-degree day, and then it stays that way Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at a minimum. After that, it's a little questionable if Thursday is going to make it or not. But it looks like it's dry this entire time. Nothing here going because we have a ridge sitting over top of the region. Here's that big ridging that's going to be sitting over top of the region, and it's going to expand. Might start to wane toward the end of the week, which means we'll be inviting some northern stream systems to try to come into our region a little bit once we get to a Thursday, I think. So before that, I think we're okay. Once we get to Thursday, you have some opportunity for some thunderstorms coming back into play here. It would just be isolated at that point. I think probably a better chance here by the time we get to Friday, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's the end of our forecast period. But it looks like, we at least have opportunities for some thunderstorms to come back into the picture toward the end of the week as that ridge begins to break down after midweek next week. But it does look like the heat wave is going to be inevitable, and we're going to have high humidity with that as well, so there could be some heat advisories and heat-related advisories from the National Weather Service issued for some areas as we head into next week. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchus. That is your outlook for June 3rd, 2021. Have a great Thursday.